So the chapter that we are going to study today is the call of the soil, right? Call of the soil. So who works with the soil? Farmers, right? People who grow crops, people who work with animals, people who keep livestock, right? Cows, buffaloes, sheep, goats. So basically, जो जमीन से जुड़ा हुआ हो, a person who's connected to the soil. So the call of the soil. So this is a very interesting chapter. But before we start reading the chapter, let's do the icebreakers. Discuss the following with your partner and complete the following sentences. One is done for you. Before eating apples brought from the market, I wash and peel them off, right? So when you get fruits and vegetables from the market, uh, it could be full of uh, sand, dust, pesticides, somebody using packing it with not very clean hands, right? So they could be soiled or muddy, or even some degree of pesticide could also be there on the fruit. So it's important to wash it well, and then if you want, you can also remove the peel before eating it. Okay? In a farmer's market, we find farmer's market is up. You'll see in a lot of places, some people have Mangal Bazaar, some people will have Shani Bazaar, some people have Som Bazaar. So it's a bazaar where the farmers get fruits, vegetables, and other things that they grow, and they sell it in the market. It's also called the farmers market. So if it is a market where farmers are selling their products, what will you find in a farmers market? You're going to find fresh fruits, fresh vegetables. You could find curd, you could find ghee, right? These kind of things you can find in a farmer's market, right? Okay. Food adulteration. Adulteration means when you mix something in the food which is not food, right? Which is not edible, not healthy. It should not be there in the food. Adulteration is milawat, right? Nowadays you hear about a lot of milawat in milk, that people mix stuff in milk to make it last longer. That is called adulteration. I'll give you the translation of this word. Okay.
Vessel.
Right?
Vessel.
So that is adulteration. Tick. Okay. Organic food is grown by, in organic food, natural fertilizers are used, and it's grown using organic methods. That means no chemicals are used. No chemical fertilizers, no chemicals to kill pests, or no pesticides, no chemical fertilizers are used. Everything that they use is natural and organic, right? Organic fertilizer means it's a fertilizer that is made using natural materials like leaves of certain plants, right? Vinegar and some other things. So uh, a compost is made, manure is made, even there are organic insecticides which helps to destroy the insects that might harm the crop. Okay. Now complete the following web diagram. Rice varieties available at my grocers. So what are the different kinds of rice? There is basmati tukda, there is red rice, there is kolam rice, there is indrani rice, there is एक वो मोटा वाला चावल होता है, and there is sama rice, right? So
Yeah.
so you can write whatever varieties of rice that you are aware of. You can write it here in this web diagram. Okay? Find out from your grandparents or parents the names of vegetables and fruits they had eaten in their childhood and mention how the vegetables and fruits are different from the ones today. Right? So you can talk to your grown-ups. I remember we used to have shetut, and I can't find it these days. It was such a common fruit in those days, and now it's just not available. So you can ask your parents and grandparents what fruits and vegetables they would eat during those times and which is not available now. Right? Of course, we used to have mangoes, we used to have guavas. So there could be other local fruits that your parents and grandparents have. You can add it to this table. Okay. You might have learned about organic farming. Make groups and discuss the difference between conventional farming and organic farming. Okay. Conventional farming is when people use pesticides. Organic farming is when the pesticides are organically made in the farm itself without any chemicals. Conventional farmers use chemical fertilizers. Organic farmers do not use chemical fertilizers. They again use natural uh, fertilizers that they may buy or they create at their own farm, right? Through compost and other methods, right? Organic farming is more environment friendly because it doesn't pollute the soil. It doesn't impact the quality of the food, and it is healthy for the person who's consuming it, right? So organic farming is considered to be much healthier than conventional farming. Okay, let's learn a little about the writer Venkateshwaran Iyer. Born in 1966, Venkateshwaran Iyer is a science graduate and a certified project management professional. He last worked with IBM in Mumbai as a project manager for software implementation. After 17 years in the IT industry, he quit in 2004 to live on his organic farm in Peth village in Dahanu Taluka, Falgar district, Maharashtra. His book, Moong Over Microchips, traces his transition from a techie to a farmer over a period of 15 to 17 years. It was not a career change, but a lifestyle change I was looking for. He says about his decision to shift to the quieter environments of a village. He insisted on practicing organic farming from the outset. He was resolute in spite of the numerous challenges which he faced. Today, not only does he deliver lectures on organic farming, but he has also joined hands with organic farmers and NGOs working in the organic field to propagate organic farming, to ensure that the land at least is not ravaged while we try to make a living out of agriculture. So the whole idea is that we should not destroy the soil. We are using it to make a living. We are using it to grow our food. The least we can do is not pollute the soil, not destroy the soil, and keep it healthy. Okay. The call of the soil, a scent of rice, the first crop. So this is the story of how Mr. Iyer got into farming in the first place. It was April 2004. I stood in the middle of the lush green field of Moong and looked around me. It was just before sunrise and the sky was turning a bright orange. The ground was damp and the leaves were shining with dew. My bare feet were muddy as I walked around gingerly inspecting the plants. So, very carefully, he walked around in his field and he was inspecting the plants. Why was he walking gingerly? Because he wanted to make sure he doesn't step on a sapling, right? And destroy or hurt a plant. Okay. Around me were rows of chiku trees and below a dense foliage of moong. At that point, I could not have asked for anything more. The moong plants, not more than 2 feet tall, had green pods hanging out. The pods were not yet ripe and there was a light buzz growing on them. There was still some time before the harvest. I felt exhilarated. So, he was very happy with the way his moong plants were bearing fruit and he was looking forward to the harvest. I stood watching the sun rise above the towering tree across the fence and slowly made my way back to the house, a white structure in the middle of this greenery. I could not believe that I was the owner of this land and that I was looking at my first crop as a farmer. After I had paid the advance money for the land, I thought I would have some time to get familiar with farming. But Moru Dada, the broker who got us the land, had other ideas. He was keen that we plant moong at once. I was not prepared for this. I was still reading books and trying to figure out what we could sow and how we should go about it. Moru Dada was quite firm. He said the season was right for sowing moong and the best seeds were available in Surat in the adjacent state of Gujarat. So he's talking about when he first became a farmer. So he did not know much about farming. So he thought, let me read some books, let me do a little bit of research, find out more actually start before I actually start growing food, before I actually start farming. But Moru Dada said, no, this is a perfect time for moong. Let's sow moong. And they got the seeds from Surat, where Moru Dada said that the best seeds are available there. I took a quick trip to Surat and bought around 10 kilograms of moong. Moru Dada rented his tractor to plow the land and quickly planted moong all over the place. So Moru Dada helped him to plant the moong all over the place. Abhishek, beta, switch off your mic, biche. Thank you. Okay. A few days later, we were overjoyed to see tiny green leaves. I had never seen moong growing before and I was thrilled at the sight. It was the same thrill I had felt as a young boy when I saw the first of the hibiscus I had planted bloom at the railway quarters in Villaparli in Mumbai. I was grateful to have taken Moru's advice. The next thing Moru Dada wanted us to do was spray some pesticide on the plants. He claimed it would give a higher yield. This was something we did not want to do. We were clear that we would not use any chemicals and tried to explain it to him. He reacted as if we had suggested harakiri. So, it was so normal for people to use chemical fertilizers and pesticides that when Mr. Iyer suggested that they will not, they've decided not to use any pesticides, so Moru Dada was shocked. It took a lot of convincing to ensure that Moru Dada and his friends did not use any chemicals on the farm. So he had to make sure that they follow his rules and do not spray any chemicals. They refused to understand how crops could grow without sprays. They said they were of the mindset that without this pesticide, these plants will not grow, right? Contrary to what everyone had told us, nature did her job and she needed no bribes to get the work done. Soon it was harvest time and we managed a respectable 300 kilograms. An awful lot of moong, and with it a lot of confidence. Now I was certain the land was fertile and that it was possible to grow crops without chemicals. It was a major morale booster. So when he was able to grow moong without any pesticides, his confidence grew and his morale grew, and he felt that he will be able to grow even other kinds of crop without fertilizers. The scent of rice. First year I
मैम
was for the, yes beta,
मैम हिंदी में एक्सप्लेन कर रही हूँ ना.
हिंदी में करूं बेटा? ठीक है.
यस मैम.
ठीक है बेटा, मैं शुरू से बताती हूँ. इन्होंने अपनी जॉब छोड़ी, मिस्टर अय्यर ने अपनी जॉब छोड़ी, आईटी के मैनेजर थे वो, और उन्होंने फार्मिंग शुरू की खेत खरीद के. तो जब उन्होंने फार्मिंग शुरू की तो उन्होंने कुछ जमीन खरीदी और उन्होंने किताबें पढ़नी शुरू की, क्योंकि उनको खेती नहीं आती थी. तो उनका कि मैं पहले किताबें पढ़ता हूँ, कब क्या उगाना चाहिए, कैसे उगाना चाहिए, उसके बाद में खेती करूंगा. लेकिन वहां पे एक मोरू दादा थे जिन्होंने उनको जमीन खरीदवाई थी. उन्होंने कहा कि नहीं नहीं, आप मूंग उगाइए, यू शुड ग्रो मूंग. तो वो सूरत गए, उन्होंने बीज खरीदा और उन्होंने मोरू दादा के कहने से वहां पे मूंग उगा दी. लेकिन जब वो मोरू दादा उस पे दवाई छिड़कने लगे, पेस्टिसाइड, तो उन्होंने, मिस्टर अय्यर सेड नो, मुझे पेस्टिसाइड्स नहीं डालने अपनी खाने पे. तो मोरू दादा को बहुत बड़ा झटका लगा कि ऐसे कैसे, बिना पेस्टिसाइड के कैसे खेती होगी. लेकिन उन्होंने कहा नहीं, आप नहीं डालेंगे. और बिना पेस्टिसाइड डाले, बिना किसी तरह के केमिकल डाले, उनके खेत में 300 किलो मूंग हुआ. तो उसे देख के देवर, द फैमिली वाज वेरी हैप्पी. उन्होंने कहा कि हाँ, अच्छा किया हमने इसमें केमिकल नहीं डाला, पेस्टिसाइड नहीं डाला, अब आगे भी हम खेती बिना पेस्टिसाइड के करेंगे. ठीक है. नाउ द सेंट ऑफ राइस, दिस इज हाउ दे स्टार्टेड the family, Mr. Ayer's family started started farming, rice farming, right? The first year I was late for the rice sowing season and had to resort to growing G4 variety that was short term and recommended by agricultural officers. So there is a time for rice sowing. इसका चावल उगाने का एक समय होता है, वो समय निकल चुका था. तो उन्होंने फिर एक और वैरायटी लगाई जो बहुत जल्दी उग जाती है. The next year we decided that we would start early and try to find some good traditional variety of rice to grow. तो उन्होंने कहा नेक्स्ट टाइम हम राइस टाइम से उगाएंगे और किसी अच्छी वैरायटी का चावल उगाएंगे, काम चलाओ चावल नहीं लगाएंगे, कोई बहुत ही खास तरह का जो चावल है उसकी हम खेती करेंगे. We had read about traditional varieties of rice and knew that they did not require very high inputs of fertilizers. उन्होंने कहा कुछ पुराने हमारे ट्रेडिशनल चावलों की वैरायटी है जिसमें बहुत ज्यादा खाद नहीं डलती है. These varieties were also quite strong and resisted pests. तो उन चावलों की क्वालिटी ये है कि उस पे पेस्टिसाइड की जरूरत नहीं है, वो खुद ही पेस्ट्स को दूर रखते हैं. We were sure that it was this type of rice that could grow well in our farm, where we did not use any chemicals at all. Our previous year's experience in low yield has taught us a lesson, and we were sure we could not plant hybrids this year. So जो उन्होंने पहले चावल उगाया था उससे वो बहुत खुश नहीं थे, तो उनको लगा कि हमें यही वाले चावल उगाने पड़ेंगे जो खुद पेस्ट रेजिस्टेंट है, क्योंकि हम तो दवाई डालेंगे नहीं. तो ये जो चावल है ये खुद ही, इनको दवाई की जरूरत नहीं होती, ये खुद ही कीड़ा नहीं लगने देते. तो ऐसा ही चावल हमारे खेत में कामयाब होगा. ओके. In April 2005 we started to look for a good variety of traditional rice. तो उन्होंने ट्रेडिशनल राइस को ढूंढना शुरू किया. ट्रेडिशनल राइस को एक बार ट्रांसलेट कर लेते हैं. ठीक है. It was one of our neighbors in the village, a businessman from Mumbai who owned land, who suggested that we plant a local scented variety of rice. Most farmers in and around the village of Peth had switched over to hybrids. सबको ज्यादा उपज चाहिए और सबने हाइब्रिड लगाना शुरू कर दिया था. The younger generation of farmers thought I was crazy to ask for the desi variety, as they called it. उनको लगा आजकल देसी कौन उगाता है, देसी में तो कम उगता है, तो प्रॉफिट भी कम होगा, फायदा भी कम होगा. तो लोग उसको देखते थे कि जब वो देसी चावल ढूंढ रहे थे उगाने के लिए, तो सब उनको देख रहे थे कि देसी कौन उगाता है आजकल. My regular visits to the villages around searching for a good traditional variety also did not yield any results, and we were almost giving up hope. तो वो पुराना चावल, देसी चावल ढूंढ ढूंढ के परेशान थे, उनको कहीं वो बीज देसी चावल नहीं मिला. I decided to give it one last try and spoke to Babban's father and some other elders. After many meaningful conversations, they mentioned the name of Kasbai. तो उन्होंने बहुत लोगों से बात की, बड़े बूढ़े जो गांव में थे, तो उनसे पता चला कि कसबाई नाम का एक चावल है. Kasbai is a traditional long grain rice variety which has a distinct aroma, though much milder than basmati. So कहते हैं कसबाई एक चावल है जो पतला और बहुत ही लंबा राइस होता है और इसकी अलग ही एक खुशबू है. It's a long duration crop and most of the older people remember growing it years ago. But they all shook their heads when I asked them about the seeds and they told me it had disappeared. जब उन्होंने पूछा कि कसबाई का बीज कहाँ मिलेगा, तो उन्होंने कहा कि बहुत साल पहले उगता था, अब तो कहीं नहीं है मार्केट में, वो गायब हो गया है. The tales of Kasbai made us more determined to get it. We decided that if we did manage to get some seeds, this would be a great rice to grow. I thought the government may know something about it. A visit to the agricultural officer was enlightening. He had not ever heard of this rice variety. सोचो जो एग्रीकल्चरल ऑफिसर है उसने वो नाम ही नहीं सुना है, तो वो चावल तो बीज कहाँ से ही मिलेगा. He said the villagers were taking me for a ride and there was no rice by that name. उन्होंने कहा इस नाम का कोई राइस नहीं है, वो आपको बुद्धू बना रहे हैं. He rattled off the names of a number of hybrids, latest hybrids, and even offered to give me some of them free of cost for a trial. Cursing myself for wasting time with him, I moved on to the next destination. उनको लगा इस तो बात करने का कोई फायदा हुआ नहीं, तो मैं कहीं और पता करता हूँ. This time it was the Adivasi Mahamandal at Kasa, which buys rice from the Adivasi villagers on behalf of the government. Kasbai did not figure in their files, a good indication why people did not grow it anymore. The market itself did not recognize the rice, so if you grew it, you would not be able to sell it. तो कहते हैं अगर किसी को पता ही नहीं है कसबाई के बारे में, तो अगर कोई इसको उगा भी लेगा तो वो बेचेंगे किसको? They will not be able to sell it. However, the officer in charge here had more knowledge of rice and did remember kasbai being sold to him a few years ago. तो उन्होंने बताया कि हाँ कुछ साल पहले मैंने कसबाई मुझे किसी ने बेचा था. So I in Dhanwari, Babban and I started looking for Devu Handa and found a graying old man wearing a cap sitting outside his house on a charpoy. An ex-sarpanch of the village, he had acres of land, a huge house and a large family. After exchanging the usual pleasantries, we came to the topic of Kasbai. The mere mention of Kasbai and Devu Handa drifted into the past. तो एक सरपंच से मिलने गए जिसके पास बहुत सारी जमीन थी, बहुत बड़ा परिवार था। उनसे उन्होंने कस्बाई के बारे में पूछा तो वो पुराने ख्यालों में खो गए कि हम तो ऐसे रहते थे, हम तो ऐसे खाते थे, हमें तो कस्बाई इतना पसंद था। लेकिन था, अब उसका कुछ अता पता नहीं है। His eyes turned dreamy, and with a tremble in his voice, he told us how the entire village at one time grew only kasbai. कहते हैं एक टाइम था जब हमारे गांव में सिर्फ कसबाई उगता था. He said there was a time when people passing by our village during lunchtime would be forced to stop and ask for a meal. Such was the alluring aroma of kasbai. कहते जो आसपास से लोग निकलते थे, उनको चावल की इतनी अच्छी खुशबू आती थी कि वो रुककर खाना मांगते थे, वो चावल खाने के लिए रुकते थे. The entire area would have this heady aroma hanging in the air as all the houses cooked the same rice. Today, he said no one grew kasbai and everyone had shifted to growing the new hybrid varieties. He claimed that he had to force himself to eat this rice, which was insipid. Insipid means distasteful, नीरस, जिसमें कोई स्वाद नहीं है. कहते हैं आजकल सब हाइब्रिड उगाते हैं, कोई कस्बाई नहीं उगाता और मुझे ये बहुत ही बेकार वाला चावल खाना पड़ता है. बट उसके पास भी उन्हें उसका बीज नहीं मिला. With the advent of irrigation, farmers were tempted to grow a second crop, and kasbai, being a long duration crop, was replaced by shorter duration hybrids so that the harvest could be done earlier. तो कसबाई पकने में बहुत टाइम लेता था, तो वो कई महीने खेत में रखना पड़ता था, और जो नए वाले हाइब्रिड राइस है वो बहुत जल्दी पक के तैयार हो जाते हैं, तो खेत जल्दी खाली हो जाता है. इसलिए फार्मर्स ने नए वाले चावल उगाने शुरू कर दिए और कसबाई बोना बंद कर दिया. क्योंकि जितने टाइम में एक कसबाई की खेती होती है, उतने टाइम में वो बाकी चीजों से दो खेती ले लेते हैं, दो फसल ले लेते हैं. Right? I asked why he had shifted if he was so unhappy with the hybrids. No one forced him, did they? He smiled and replied that their fields did not have fences, and once the harvest was over, the cattle were released into the fields. If my field alone has kasbai, it will be a treat for the cattle, he explained. Yes. Sometimes we have to fall in line with the community, he lamented. He said कि अगर जब सबकी खेती कट जाती है तो जानवरों को वो खेत में छोड़ देते हैं, और सबकी खेती तो कट जाएगी, कसबाई लेट तैयार होती है, तो सारे जो जानवर हैं, सबकी गाय भैंस जो है वो मेरे कसबाई को खा जाएंगी. इस चक्कर में मैंने उसको उगाना बंद कर दिया. Sometimes we have to fall in line with the community, he lamented. तो उन्होंने कहा कि ये दुख की बात है, लेकिन कई बार हमें वो करना पड़ता है जो बाकी सब कर रहे हैं. Hybrids need more water, fertilizers and pesticides. He said the yields were good initially, but of late have reduced a lot. तो जो हाइब्रिड्स है उनको ज्यादा पानी चाहिए, ज्यादा फर्टिलाइजर चाहिए और ज्यादा पेस्टिसाइड चाहिए. तो शुरू में तो बहुत सारी खेती हुई थी, अच्छी फसल हुई थी, लेकिन अब कुछ खास फसल नहीं होती है, अब फसल बहुत कम हो गई है. Besides, he said that each year they had to increase the quantity of urea and pesticides they used. उसके अलावा हर साल उनको पिछले साल से ज्यादा पेस्टिसाइड डालना पड़ता है. Right? It was as if newer hybrids had an insatiable appetite for chemicals. ऐसा लगता था कि ये जो नई फसल है उनका impossible to satisfy, कि उनकी पेस्टिसाइड्स के लिए इतनी भूख है, इतनी जरूरत है कि उनका केमिकल से पेट ही नहीं भरता और उनको और ज्यादा केमिकल चाहिए ताकि वो अच्छी फसल उगा सके, राइट? He told us that even when there were flash floods in the 60s, Kasbai had stood its ground. He fondly remembered how the rice was still standing when they all returned to the village after the floods had receded. Such was the strength of the rice. But look what we have done. He says Kasbai इतना खास चावल था कि जब बाढ़ आती थी और सब कुछ बर्बाद हो जाता था और जब बाढ़ खत्म हो जाती थी हम वापस आते थे तो वो चावल ऐसा का ऐसा हमें खेत में खड़ा मिलता था। बाढ़ से भी वो चावल खराब नहीं होता था। कहते हैं लेकिन हमने अब उसको उगाना ही बंद कर दिया। And he went on reminiscing about the rice. As he went on reminiscing about the rice, we gently guided him back to the reason of our visit, the kasbai seeds. तो जब वो बातें कर रहे थे तो उन्होंने धीरे से बताया कि हम तो कसबाए बीज ढूंढते ढूंढते यहाँ तक आए हैं, क्या आप हमें कहीं से वो दिला सकते हैं? He was sure there was not a single villager in this area who could have the seeds of kasbai. कहते हैं पूरे गांव में ऐसा कोई भी नहीं है जिसके पास कसबाई के बीज हो। According to him, the only people who still grew it were the Adivasis in a hamlet at the foothills of the mountains in the next village, Asarvari. As we bid farewell to Devuhanda, he lovingly blessed us and said, Mahalakshmi, the local goddess, will bless you with the seeds of Kasbai. तो जब हम वहां से निकले तो उन्होंने कहा कि एक आदिवासी का गांव है आसावरी नाम से, वो अभी भी शायद उगाते हैं। और जाते हुए उन्होंने आशीर्वाद दिया कि आपको भगवान करे तुम्हें माँ लक्ष्मी के आशीर्वाद से कसबाई के बीज मिल जाए। In Aswari village, we asked the Sarpanch to help us as we were not very fluent in the local dialect. He sent his assistant Jeevan with us into the hills. After an hour, half-hour walk through the thick vegetation, crossing numerous streams and ditches and scrambling over rocks and gravel, we reached the sleepy hamlet of Boripada. There were only two ramshackle houses in front of us, and we wondered if this was the right place. जब वहां पे पहुंचे तो वहां पे सिर्फ दो घर थे, वो भी टूटे फूटे, झोपड़ पट्टी, बिल्कुल खंडर। तो उनको लगा कि हम सही जगह आए हैं क्या। A wrinkled old woman sitting in before one of the houses looked at us with curiosity. As we approached her, we signaled to Jeevan to ask the crucial question. जीवन ने, उनको तो भाषा आती नहीं थी आदिवासी की, तो जीवन ने उस लेडी से पूछा कि हम यहाँ पे कसबाई का चावल ढूंढ रहे हैं। She muttered in reply and we looked at Jeevan for a quick interpretation. He broke into a smile and informed us that she did have the rice and wanted to know who we were and why we wanted it. तो उस लेडी ने कहा, बहुत ही बुजुर्ग लेडी थी, उसने कहा कि हाँ मेरे पास है, लेकिन तुम कौन हो और तुम्हें क्यों चाहिए? It was a difficult task to keep a straight face. I had to control a strong desire to hug her. After searching for months, we had found the elusive kasbai. कहते महीनों धक्के खाने के बाद हमें फाइनली कसबाई चावल मिल गया और खुशी से मैं चाहता था कि उसको गले लगा लूं, उस बुजुर्ग लेडी को, लेकिन मैंने बड़ी मुश्किल से अपने आप को रोका। We explained to her that we were from Peth nearby and we needed the seeds to grow it. We asked for 10 kilograms of rice. She muttered and scowled. Jeevan interpreted that she had never heard of Peth village and also did not have a weighing scale. She was willing to give us the seeds only in baskets. We asked for a single basket of rice and Jeevan told us to pay her something. I handed over a 100 rupee note and for the first time in the last 10 minutes, her face broke into a smile. She nodded her head in approval. So finally, the lady smiled when she saw a 100 rupee note and उनको राइस मिल गया, वो उन्होंने राइस ले लिया और उसको बदले में 100 रुपए दिए और 100 रुपए देकर वो बहुत खुश हो गई. As we walked back against the fading sunset, leaving behind a smiling old lady, I couldn't help but wonder that here, nesting in the foothills of an unknown mountain, away from the hustle and bustle of the road or the city, were the real people of India. सोचो, एक आदिवासी लेडी ने, बुजुर्ग औरत ने एक ऐसा चावल बचा के रखा हुआ है जो सदियों से हमारे देश में उगता था और आज किसी के पास उसका वो है ही नहीं. और वो किसने बचा के रखा हुआ है? एक बुजुर्ग आदिवासी लेडी ने. उसने कहा ये हमारे देश के असली लोग हैं. These are people who still held on to the rich biodiversity of our land and no one even cared about them. They had never heard of hybrids, fertilizers or pesticides. They just grew their rice and ate what they got. The old lady we met had probably never left Boripada. Her world was unspoilt by progress. And for once I was grateful for that. कितने उस लेडी को ना फर्टिलाइजर, पेस्टिसाइड, इन चीजों का नाम ही नहीं सुना. वो अपना चावल उगाते हैं और जो उगाते हैं वही खाते हैं. कहते हैं शुक्र है भगवान का कि वहां पे जिसको हम प्रोग्रेस कहते हैं वो वहां तक नहीं पहुंचा, क्योंकि प्रोग्रेस वहां तक पहुंच जाता तो वहां भी ये बीज, प्रगति अगर वहां तक पहुंच जाती तो इनको ये बीज वहां पे भी नहीं मिलता. क्वेश्चंस देख लेते हैं. ट्रू फॉल्स स्टेटमेंट्स हैं. जो ट्रू है उसके सामने ट्रू लिखो, जो फॉल्स है उसको ठीक करो. ग्रोइंग इन अबंडेंस इज मोर इंपॉर्टेंट देन द क्वालिटी ऑफ द क्रॉप. कि क्रॉप की क्वालिटी अच्छी होना हो, बहुत सारा होना चाहिए, ये फॉल्स है. द क्वालिटी ऑफ द क्रॉप इज एज इंपॉर्टेंट एज ग्रोइंग इट इन अबंडेंस. अगर बहुत सारा है लेकिन अच्छी क्वालिटी का नहीं है तो क्या फायदा है ना? The author wanted to grow the desi variety of rice. True. The author did not succeed in finding kasbai. False. Last में वो आदिवासी लेडी के पास उनको मिल जाता है. So the author succeeded in finding kasbai. The aroma of desi rice would spread through around the village. True. Newer hybrids have a great appetite for chemicals. True. वो कहते हैं कि देसी जो नए हाइब्रिड क्रॉप्स हैं उसमें बहुत ज्यादा केमिकल डलता है. The author is an example of reverse migration. True. Migration is जब आप गांव से शहर या एक जगह से दूसरी जगह जाते हैं काम ढूंढने के लिए, नौकरी ढूंढने के लिए. तो ऑथर रिवर्स माइग्रेशन क्या है? वो बाहर गए फिर वहां से वापस अपने गांव आए और वहां पे उन्होंने खेती शुरू की. रिवर्स माने उल्टा. तो ये रिवर्स माइग्रेशन का एक एग्जाम्पल है. ये फ्लो चार्ट है. पहले उन्होंने राइस ढूंढना शुरू किया और फिर एंड में उनको राइस मिला. बीच बीच में क्या हुआ? बीच में April 2005 started his search for kasbai rice. फिर वो बबन के फादर और विलेज एल्डर्स से मिले. उसके बाद ही learnt about kasbai and consulted agricultural officers. उन्होंने कहा कि इस नाम की कोई चीज ही नहीं है. फिर वो देवू हांडा से मिले जो उनको असरवी विलेज लेके गए और वहां पे उनको एक आदिवासी लेडी से उन्होंने कस्बाई राइस खरीदा, राइट। ये आप इन बॉक्सेस में लिख सकते हैं, ठीक है, ये जो बॉक्सेस हैं। ओके, read the text and fill in the blanks. One is done for you. The author wanted to grow organic moong. Moong Bada wanted to spray pesticides on the moong crop. Baban's father and some elders mentioned the name of Kasbai. Right? Mention the name of Kasbai. Hybrids need more water, fertilizers, and pesticides, said Devu Anda. The author bought 10 kilograms of rice from an, वहां पे वेइंग मशीन तो नहीं थी, तो उन्होंने किससे खरीदा था? उन्होंने खरीदा था टोकरी में। उन्होंने सिंगल बास्केट ऑफ राइस खरीदा, है ना। 10 केजीज उन्होंने मांगा था, लेकिन 10 केजीज उनको मिला नहीं था, राइट। सो ही बॉट अ सिंगल बास्केट ऑफ राइस फ्रॉम द आदिवासी वुमन, ठीक। ओके, नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन देख लेते हैं। Go through the text again and write down Devu Handa's fond memories of Kasbai. कहते हैं कि तेज कैसे, one you can write that the whole village smelt of Kasbai rice. Second, it could stand the floods and all also and survive during the floods, right? And then it needs very little water. बहुत ज्यादा उसको पानी नहीं चाहिए उगने के लिए। आपको थोड़ा सा रिसर्च करना चाहिए। ये जो इसके एक दो और क्वेश्चंस हैं, क्लास के बाद मैं ये रिसोर्स आपके साथ शेयर कर दूंगी, आप इसको लिख के प्रैक्टिस कर सकते हैं। एक ये ब्लॉग राइटिंग जरूर करिए, एक सैंपल मैं भी आपको दूंगी। Describe in 150 words your experience similar to the writers when you perceived something and reached your goal. कुछ आपको ऐसा एग्जाम्पल लिखना है जब आप भी कुछ ढूंढने या करने निकले और फिर कुछ मुश्किलों के बाद आप उसको कर पाए। So make sure you practice these writings. These are very important for your exam. एग्जाम के लिए ये बहुत जरूरी है बेटा, ये आपको लिख के प्रैक्टिस करना है। मैं जो आपको रिसोर्स दूंगी इसमें भी आपके पास कुछ एग्जाम्पल होंगे, ठीक है। ये देखो, ये एग्जाम्पल्स जो मैं आपको दूंगी, लेकिन आपको अपने भी खुद लिख के प्रैक्टिस करने हैं, ठीक है। क्लास के बाद ये रिसोर्स आपके साथ शेयर कर दिया जाएगा। और डॉक्टर खादर के बारे में थोड़ा सा रिसर्च करना, पता करना, उन्होंने भी यही किया है। उनको ही इज कॉल्ड द मिलेट मैन ऑफ इंडिया। हिंदुस्तान से मिलेट का बीज खत्म हो गया था, वो कहाँ कहाँ जाके पूरी दुनिया में ढूंढ ढूंढ के उन्होंने फार्मर्स को फ्री मिलेट बांटा और मिलेट्स वापस इंडिया में आए हैं, ठीक है बेटा। So I'll end the class here. Bye.